Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we have people still busy having lunch, so we have a very thin audience here. Just to give you a little background about where I come from, basically, Green Infra is a company which has been promoted by IDFC Private Equity. We are currently operating 325 megawatts across 6 states. Out of this, 290 megawatts is wind and 35 megawatt is solar PV. As far as Green Infra is concerned, we are quite excited about this sector, and we think that the sector has tremendous potential to continue to grow. However, there are matters of few concern which are getting addressed at various forums and getting raised at various levels. From our perspective, what I think a couple of key things just to summarize. First is, of course, the enforcement on the RPO side, which is important element, which is necessary to make sure that the sector continues to grow. And visibility of the REC beyond 2017, that's also equally important, which we have been talking to all the concerned authorities in the government. And we've been talking to Ministry of Power also in terms of getting the necessary amendments that are required under the Electricity Act for renewable energy sources. For example, renewable energy needs a definition in the Electricity Act so that more clarity is available around what sources get qualified as a renewable energy. So that's one big area which can make a huge difference, both immediate as well as on a medium to long-term basis. Then the other important thing, is in terms of the transmission system, which today being a generator makes us worry because we have a large chunk of our operating portfolio in Tamil Nadu, and we are almost on a daily basis backing down by about 30 to 40%. So most of the countries have renewable energy sources with a must-run status, but unfortunately we don't enjoy the same status in our country. So that is something which needs to be seriously looked into, so that because renewable energy has to be consumed when it gets generated, and storage technologies are not competitive at the moment, so that we could look at them and then probably have a better management in terms of inputs to the grid. So that not being there, I think it's important that renewable energy continues to, should get a status of a must-run. At the same time, the transmission planning that we have noticed doesn't account for the renewable energy. When the transmission planning is done, it's mostly done with the large conventional capacities and plans. So though, of course, there is a green corridor that is being talked about, interconnectivity states and other things, acceleration of the transmission lines is equally important because we can add the capacities quickly, but if those capacities cannot be evacuated, then we would have stranded assets, and that would again get into further complications for us. Then finally, the other important thing that from our perspective is the implementation of the policies which have been pending, like the GBI and AD, which will help the sector to grow further, and those announcement of those quickly, so that people are able to accelerate the investments in these sectors. And finally, moving forward, in terms of the solar, I would like to touch a few things there. There again, we have now certain aggressive biddings that we have seen from people where in the state biddings, where projects have not really taken off. So that doesn't really help the sector. It actually pushes back the investments, because end of the day, people who are investing are looking for certain returns. And if the tariffs go to a very low level where it is not sustainable, then it becomes extremely difficult. And on the policy side, for solar, there needs to be a distinction brought about between the AD and non-AD, because today most of the states don't differentiate between AD and non-AD. So AD and non-AD, the differential can be a rupee or more than that, depending on how people look at it while bidding. So that's equally important. We are eagerly awaiting for the National Solar Mission Phase 2 700 megawatt bids to be coming out. there are certain issues in that which we are trying to address through MNRE in terms of the viability gap funding, and as well as there's a new evaluation system that is introduced, which is to pay on the tariff adjustment with the lowest bid plus 10%. That we believe is not the right step, because what they did in the previous two batches in terms of allocating at the cutoff capacities might be the right one, because the difficulty with that is that any one single company just bidding a 5 megawatt with a very aggressive number, that becomes the benchmark. And then you may not have serious IPPs, not, just that plus 10% may not really be good enough to get to a tariff. So it's better to stick to the old policy of having allocated the capacity according to the tariffs up to the megawatts that is available, which is proven and has actually given good results in terms of adding almost about 350 megawatts in the last two phases. So that is where we would conclude on that. And in terms of the future technologies, a few things is I think the policymakers and MNRE should actively look at having more monitoring stations, both in terms of solar and in terms of wind. Quality of data is what is equally important, because that would take away the uncertainties in terms of the energy yields, and also for offshore potential in terms of putting up certain met masts across the coast, and then having a common agency to coordinate will help. Quality data will help the investors to come in and go ahead, and government can look at having more weather stations and more met masts available, which can improve the reliability of the whole thing and help us in bringing new technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nimbagi. If you have any question to Mr. Nimbagi, I think I can take them on. I mean, since he has to leave, so I will leave him after. Whenever he chooses to, he can go.
Yeah, on the AD is the accelerated depreciation. So typically what happens is the people who bid on the basis of AD take the advanced accelerated depreciation, and it's a deferred tax liability. So which enables them to price the tariff lower to the extent of a rupee, or even up to 1 rupee 50 paise, depending on what is the tax liability that they have. So that differentiation is not there in the bidding. So suppose I want to avail AD and he doesn't want to avail AD. So he would be 1 rupee higher than myself. So there is no level playing field. So normally, fair is where you distinguish between AD and non-AD. So that declaration is given, and accordingly people bid the tariff.